nice, at least when the middle section goes up.
Uh-huh. So prompt.
Well, they were here taking pictures at 5 o'clock, so.
Very important. Gotcha. I like when it feels full in here. It feels really nice. Yeah.
It's also nice that the departments, both kids get to sit with their parents in the chapel. That's, you know.
That's true, because you got like three or four.
Yeah, and it's yeah. I wish there was something we could do.
That's true. Yeah, this is nice. And better than sitting with people too, which I guess there's 2 years.
Yes. Does anybody sit on the beam anymore?
It's way better like this. Way better.
See your kid,
Yeah. Yeah. See him do his thing, not just watch his tushy.
right?
Oh, we're just about there, I think. Page for He name our code for our opener. Which one?
340.
340. Which is the? How does this one go?
Except this is the one with how good it is, but
Oh.
most people know that by now.
Should we still give him the page?
Let's see what's on that page.
Okay.
Yeah. So give it to him.
Okay. 340. Shall we?
Sure.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good evening. We're going to begin this evening in song together. If you'll make your way in your books to page 340, Barbara and I want to invite you to sing along with us. We can fill up this big space with our voices and our prayers together. Page 340.
Hine matov u'manayim sheberachim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim sheberachim gam yachad. Try it with us, and it goes Hine matov, clap, clap.
Can't forget the claps.
All right? They're very important. All right. טוב ומנעים שבר אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבר אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבר אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבר אחים גם יחד. How good it is, how sweet it is, to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is, to be together on this day. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבר אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבר אחים גם יחד.
This evening, we're coming together for the opportunity to pray and to sing and to celebrate and to grieve. So to make sure that we can create a community of prayer this evening together that is cohesive and supportive and warm, I want to make sure that you've turned off your cell phones so that we can be fully and truly here for each other and for this evening. One of the things that we are celebrating this weekend is the B'nai Mitzvah of two young men who enter into Jewish adulthood this Shabbat. So it is my delight to invite Landon Lord and Ethan Taylor to the Bima, along with their parents, Stacy and Jeremy, and Kim and Gary, who will lead us in the meditations and the blessing before the lighting of the Shabbat candles. If you'll turn in your books to page 2 and 3, you'll find those readings and those blessings.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us.
As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives.
Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. All right. Hey.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Continuing now on page 20 of our prayer books, we welcome Shabbat with the hymn Lecha Dodi. We'll be singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9.
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Kabbalat. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Shamor v'zachor b'nipurecha, Hishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, Shemo tiferet l'tfilah, Lecha Dodi, לקראת שבת, לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה.
Verse 5.
התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בעורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני, בית נגלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה.
We rise together and face the door to welcome Shabbat.
בואי בשלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה וצהלה, תוך אמונה עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה.
We remain standing for a moment and find someone nearby to wish a Shabbat Shalom to. Still standing, we turn in our books to page 28 for the words of Baruch Hu, page 28.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
On page 31, praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated. I'd like to invite Ethan Taylor to the bima to lead us in prayer. We'll continue with Ve'ahavta, page 36.
Ve'afta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levaha u'b'chol nafsheha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Veshinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shiftecha b'beitecha u'latecha v'aderech u'shofbecha u'vkumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu le'totafot b'neinecha Utaftam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tiskeru va'asitem ekol mitzvotai v'hiatem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
On page 39, standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Page 40.
Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele, malchutecha ra'u בוקע הים לפני משה ומרים זה אלינו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
On page 44, the words at the top of the page describe the way that Shabbat symbolizes that moment of rest on the seventh day of creation, when, as you'll see in the last line there, God ceased from work and was refreshed. The Hebrew for that verb is shavat vayinafash. God was refreshed, but the Hebrew root of that word vayinafash is the Hebrew root nefesh, which means soul. So just as that first seventh day was the time that God was re-souled by God's work of creation, each time we reach the Shabbat together, it's our chance to tap into that eternal core inside of us, to feel our souls filling back up again as we breathe deeply the joy and togetherness of Shabbat. Page 44 at the top.
Shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam oti leolam v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam u'bayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam.
We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. It is my pleasure to invite Landon Lord to the Bima to lead us in prayer. Our Amidah begins on page 46. Please rise.
Adonai sefatayv tiftach ufi yagita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'anora, El Yom, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Hastei Avot ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei v'nechem, Leman Shemo be'achava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, ve'ezrat Sarah, Atagi bor le'olam Adonai, mechaye hakol atavrav le'oshia, mashiv haruach umorid hagashem, mechalkel chayim behesed, mechaye hakol berachamim rabin, somech noflim verofei cholim, umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar micha mocha ba'al gevurot umido melach melech make me to mekayem umatzmia Yeshua v'ne'emanat alech achayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shem hakadosh ukedoshim bechol yom yechalelu haselah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
You may be seated. Before we continue with our own private meditations, we'll turn to page 60, where you'll find there the words of Shalom Rav, our prayer for peace.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki Ata hu Melech Adon lechol hashalom, ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha sim leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam.
We'll take just a moment for our own individual silent prayer.
Say shalom, shalom b'mamav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oh, say shalom, shalom b'mamav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. ועל כל ישראל
On page 253, find the words for our Mishaberach, our prayer for healing, as we couple our own personal prayers with our community's prayers on behalf of those in need of healing and relief on this Shabbat. Together this evening, we'll offer a Mishaberach for Bernie Berman, Bradley Borden, Melba Berman, Jennifer Carey, Miles Cohn, Richard Dana, Diane Dante, Roseanne Finkel, Alan Garber, Marcine Goldman, Rachel Guto Ellis, Sarah James, Lawrence Levy, Roger Williams, Esther Batzipora, and Chenya Rachel Minzel Bat Aharon Batzipora. At the bottom of page 250, in the middle of page 253, we sing and pray together.
May the source of strength, oh bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say amen. Yisheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say amen. And let us say amen.
I have a few brief announcements about some upcoming events and programs in our community that I want to share with you before I share some words of Torah this week. The first is a reminder and an encouragement to remain with us at the end of our service so that we can say the blessings of Kiddush and Motzi together as a community. This week, the challah and wine over which we'll be offering these blessings have been provided by the Lord and Taylor families in honor of their sons' B'nai Mitzvah this weekend. We are delighted to celebrate with them and grateful for their generosity. If you picked up a Shabbat handout on your way in, take a look in there for some upcoming events in the congregation. First, a note that our volunteer choir will host its annual showcase entitled Back to Broadway. That's this Sunday, the 15th at 4:30 p.m. There should be more information in your handout and online. RSVPs are now officially open for our annual Egfu Shabbos dinner. That's after services on Friday, the 20th of December. I'm also pleased to remind you that our ever-open documentary film will be screened again during dinner that night. If you didn't get a chance to see it during our anniversary celebration last month, please make a point of coming to services Friday the 20th so you can watch it then. A reminder that if you live in a place where there is a runoff election for elected officials, the runoff election is tomorrow, this Saturday. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and you can vote in the runoffs at any polling location. There's details online at harrisvotes.com. Lastly, our annual Hanukkah Latke Supper will happen 6 p.m. Friday, the 27th of December, with the service to follow at 7 p.m. That's a change from our usual Shabbat schedule: dinner at 6, service at 7. And now I want to say I feel like I open with this every Shabbat, but it's been a weird week, friends. It has been a strange, stressful, dramatic, unusual week, and once again, in a phrase I seem to say just about every time I stand up before you on Shabbat, it has been a hard week for the Jews. So instead of focusing on all the strange, dramatic upheavals of the week, I want to just focus my remarks this evening on a very small sliver of time that passed this week, just about 7 hours or so, on Wednesday, this past Wednesday, from mid-afternoon until about 9:30 at night. And here's how those 7 hours transpired. At about 2:30 in the afternoon on Wednesday, the New York Times published a scoop about a forthcoming executive order that would be issued from the White House. According to the Times reporting, the order would effectively change what it means to be Jewish in America, defining, and now I'm quoting that original reporting, defining Judaism as a nationality and not just a religion. As soon as those lines were printed, the mighty machinery of the internet whirred to life. My inbox and social media feeds were soon filled to the brim with people in an abject panic, asking whether they'd need to update their passports, or if they should keep a suitcase packed, or if the next step would be deportation camps for American Jews. Now, of course, we know now that all of that panic turned out to be in vain, because what happened was that the Times blew it. Their reporting was mistaken, but to explain what happened, I have to go into a little bit of wonky detail, and so you'll bear with me. The true story was that there was indeed an executive order in the offing, but it was aimed at accomplishing something that turned out to be quite good for American Jews. The order would extend officially the protections of Title VI of the Civil Rights Act to include protections for Jewish students on college campuses, something which I can tell you from my own personal and professional experience is very much a group that would benefit from our attention and our concern and our legal protections. Now, the background here is that because Title VI doesn't mention discrimination based on religion, only discrimination based on race and national origin, one might assume that it excludes protection for minority religious groups. And so to close this loophole in years past, there had been for years a standing policy that religion was nonetheless covered under Title VI, despite the original language of the law. Because, as we know too well from our own experience, bigots discriminate against minority religious groups in the same way they discriminate against minority racial groups. The precedent and understanding had been to expand the way we protect minorities under that title. And so this executive order made it clear that these protections would be officially extended not only to Jewish students, but to students from any religion with a shared ancestry or ethnicity. For example, Hindu students or Sikh students. The difference in our case is that this executive order would specifically instruct the Department of Education to consider a definition of anti-Semitism which had been agreed upon by the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, which includes certain types of criticism of Israel among its examples of anti-Semitism. Now, after the true story was revealed and the real information broke on Wednesday night, unfortunately, adding error to error, the Times didn't do very much to correct their mistake, although other outlets like CNN did. And so the early critics of the first round of reporting, including many American Jews, who spoke out against the executive order or the original reporting about this executive order, and also in turn against the administration, based on that original erroneous reporting, wound up with egg on their faces and pent-up fear and anxiety bubbling up inside and nothing to do with it. And from Wednesday night at about 9:30 until I walked into the sanctuary tonight, the backlash has been fierce and fast-paced from both sides of the political continuum, at least, again, according to my inbox and my social media feed, from angry people on both extremes, suggesting that Wednesday's political upheaval was not tied to partisan discontent, not tied to political anxiety, but to the Jews. Even after the record was set straight, voices on the far left came out of the woodwork to castigate members of the Jewish community, including the national leadership of the ADL and the AJC, who worked to help draft this executive order, calling them collaborators and worse, and ridiculing this order, which used executive power to crack down on liberal arts majors boycotting Israeli hummus, but not the perpetrators of violent anti-Semitism, which targets Jews outside of college campuses, including, we must mention, the victims of the attack in Jersey City that left 3 people dead in a kosher market. Not to be outdone, those on the far right went after the Jewish community as well, because we just don't know how good we've got it in this country. This stream of criticism attacks us for failing to realize how much the current administration loves the Jewish community and looks after our interests. Both on the far left and on the far right, the take-home conclusion of those 7 hours on Wednesday seems to have been unanimity that there would be less Jewish suffering if only the Jews were fill in the blank, more grateful, less easily appeased, more fervently Zionist, less concerned about Israel. We're getting it from both sides, all of them wagging their fingers and all of them insisting that we Jews wouldn't suffer quite so much if only we were less Jewish. I remember years ago the way it felt if there was a headline in the paper or a story on the national news that had a Jewish angle to it. It felt exciting. There's a new technological innovation in Israel, a Jewish Olympian winning a medal, a compelling and identifiably Jewish character on a great TV show. Now all I want is to go a week, just 1 week, without being noticed. It's like that line in Fiddler on the Roof when Tevye says, "I know we're the chosen people, but once in a while, couldn't you choose someone else?" About 18 centuries ago, this same ambivalence and anxiety pulsed and bubbled beneath the surface of a Jewish moralistic text that you may know of called Pirkei Avot, the Ethics of the Fathers. In that text, 2 rabbis represent opinions that we might read in today's editorial pages, wrestling with opposing ideas about how Jews, then a minority population in the Galilee, should relate to the non-Jewish authorities running the government under whose influence they lived. And I'll tell you about them one at a time. The first, Rabbi Hanina, was the deputy high priest of the Jewish community in the Galilee. He said that one should pray for the welfare of the government because people's respect for the government, people's admiration and understanding of the coercive power of the government is the only thing, in his words, keeping men from swallowing each other alive. On the other hand, His opponent and interlocutor, Rabban Gamliel, the civic leader of the Jewish community, says instead, no, you've got it all wrong. One should not pray for the welfare of the government. Instead, the proper posture is that one should beware of the government. Because, he taught, the government will never befriend you unless it fulfills their own needs and interests. They may seem like friends, Rabban Gamliel taught, when it is in their interest, but they will not stand by you in the hour of your distress. Hanina warns that if you don't support the government, you're liable to be swallowed alive. Gamliel says that if you support it too much, if you place yourself too close to the authorities in power, you'll be left vulnerable to face your struggles and distress all alone. Now, what you'll notice is that what this text teaches is that whether you listen to this rabbi or that one, whether you support the government or oppose it, you're not going to fare all that well in the end. It is a very Jewish lesson indeed. And it's a tough lesson to abide, especially for American Jews. Because here, unlike virtually any other period of Jewish history around the globe, the government has never been the entity that facilitates anti-Semitism or anti-Jewish violence. Here in America, we Jews have thrived because of the government, because of its laws, not in spite of them. Yet here, too, our protections are never guaranteed forever. And one of the things that I learned from those 7 hours on Wednesday is how close to the surface our historical trauma remains, how tender and on edge all of our nerves remain, so that all it takes is one journalist to print an erroneous lead suggesting that Judaism will be redefined for all of that fear and anxiety to erupt again, feeling vulnerable and frightened, another anxious reminder that everything we have could be taken away from us again. We're going to light our first Hanukkah candle a little over a week from now. And when reflecting about what happened on Wednesday, it seems to me that it is strangely appropriate that this very weird and unique time in American history falls so close to that Jewish holiday. Because we know, all of us know, what the Maccabees believed about the appropriate Jewish response to the government. The whole reason for this holiday is that they rose up and fought against the Greeks who used their military and cultural power to clamp down on the way that Jews live their spiritual lives. But there's a part of the Hanukkah story that we must not fail to appreciate as well. The Maccabees story isn't just about why the Greeks' empire was wicked. It's a cautionary tale about the shortcomings of government more broadly. Because you may not know what happened after the war was over, after the Maccabees defeated the Seleucid army. The thing that happened after that is that the Jews formed their own government. They formed a Jewish empire called the Hasmonean dynasty. It was led by Judah Maccabee's brother, Simon. And the reason that you don't hear very much about it is that it was a brief and tragic failure. The Maccabees' own power structure, their own Jewish government, lasted about 100 years, the blink of an eye in history's sweep, and it was easily quashed by Herod the Great, and the last vestige of Jewish autonomy and independence was crushed under the heel of Rome until 1948. Different Jewish communities at different points in Jewish life and Jewish history have very, very different relationships with the governments under which they live. We have positive stories, and we have terrible, bloody, tragic ones too. What's important to remember is that our relationship with the government under which we live is not in and of itself what makes us thrive or makes us fail as Jews. And that's why, whether you made this connection or not, that's why we teach our kids to sing a particular song on Hanukkah that comes from the book of the prophet Zechariah, whose words remind us, not by might and not by power, but only by God's Spirit do we uphold and fulfill what is expected of us. Some of us feel naturally closer to the teachings of Rabbi Hanina. Some of us feel naturally closer to the teachings of Rabban Gamliel. Some of us just hope for a week when the media will ignore us again. Wherever we find ourselves on that continuum, whatever we believe in our souls and know in our brains to be true, what is undeniable and eternal is that the thing that connects us to each other, to the community that sustains us, and to the God under whose wisdom we labor, is not the might nor the power, but the eternal Spirit. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. If you'll join me, please, on the bottom half of page 282 of your prayer books now, we're going to rise together as the ark is opened for Elenu, page 282.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We turn now to the work of memory, to remember those no longer with us, whose names and whose legacy continue to illumine our path and make us who we are. At this time, our thoughts turn to those who have departed the earth, our own loved ones and those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. On this Shabbat, the hearts of our congregation go out in sadness and sympathy to the families of Emily Weingartenstein and Odessa Davis Wexler, laid to rest in recent days. To their names we add these, the names of those whose yahrzeits fall at this time. Together we remember Albert Alexander, Albert Beck, Wilbur Roy, Bill Beckman, Rose Belsky, Rose Block, Sylvan Brandon, Gussie Brockstein, Serena Brooks, Ruth Brown, Abigail Rosa Bueno, Reba Cantor, Blanche Carr, Laura Stern Cohen, Joe Dante, Marcia Davidson, Gerald I. Jumbo Davis, David Einbinder, Fanny Eisen, Gerald Jerry Epstein, Jacob Evans, Nathan Mark Feldman, Louis Bennett Fenberg, Irene Byron Fine, Dorothy Fisher, Sarah Frosch, Florence F. Gates, Jack Gelman, Peppino Giovanella, Jay Goodman, Bessie Goodman, Joe C. Goot, Morris H. Greenfield, Sarah Grossman, Seymour Halfant, Sharon Goldstein Halpin, Marvin Hertz, Regina Hockman, Celia Holste, Rosalie Itzig, Donnie Jacobson, Oscar Janowski, Lorraine Joseph, Morris H. Kaplan, Jenny Karen, Edward Joseph Klein, Morton Cooperman, Irene Oshman Levy, Bernard Levin, Nathan Lewis Levy, Paul Lipnick, Rachel Lipson, Elizabeth R. Mandelstein, Kenneth S. Markowitz, Leon Markowitz, Louis E. Mayer, Sarah Mendelovitz, Bert Mintz, Fanny Myron, Jacob Mormon, Frederick M. Mike Nackman, Irma Karb Nathan, Julius Nathan, Otto Nathan, Kay Newberger, Norman Balfour Oshman, Meyer Patent, Jerry Perez Jr., Joe Pearl, Sylvia Presser, Joel Reisman, Sidney Cole Rhodes, Ellis Robbins, Toba Root, Francine Greenfield Rosenthal, Sheldon Rosenthal, Aaron S. Rosenthal, Ruth F. Rubenstein, Evelyn Rauch Rubenstein, Edith Sazen, Sonia Schnoll, Goldie Schnur, Arthur Schwartz, Morris Seligman, John P. Sepper, Tina Schaefer, Sarah Sherman, Sam J. Schneiderson, Marion Siegel, Benjamin K. Smith, Howard Stern, Anna Stoner, Eva Sussman, Abe Tartak, Eva G. Totter, Elaine Tenenbaum, Elsie Tenenbaum, Thomas Turpey Jr., Marvin H. Wallach, Brian Weiss, Rose Flaxman Weiss, Sarah Elizabeth White, Sam Wilk, Bernice Wilkenfeld, Jesse Wilkenfeld, Marcos Wolowski, Bess D. Yellen, Iris Zeitler, and Irving Zlotnick. The memories of all of them are with us as we turn to page 294 and rise together for the recitation of the Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yitzgadal v'yitzkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv imru amen, Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lamei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzba'ar v'yitzramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitzhadar v'yitzaleh v'yitzalal shmei dekudsha barichu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen.
You may be seated as we continue with the blessings of Kiddush and Motzi. I want to invite Landon and Ethan back up to the bima, along with Mason, Joshua, and Zachary. The blessings for the wine and challah are on page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodesho be'achava u'ratzon hinhilanu Zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehillah lemikraye kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim ki vanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat koshecha Be'ahava uvratzon chin haltanu Baruch Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Tear that open. Yeah, go for it. We're going to close this evening with, on page 353 of our prayer books, page 353.
Odivo shalom aleinu, Odivo shalom aleinu, Odivo shalom aleinu, ve'al kulam. Odivo shalom aleinu, Odivo shalom aleinu, Odivo shalom aleinu, ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Odivo shalom aleinu, Odivo shalom aleinu, Odivo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Ki v'moed, ki v'moed, ki v'moed, ki v'moed. Yalai, lalai, lai, yalai, lalai, lai, yalai, lalai, lai, yalalai, yalalai, yalai, lalai, lai, yalai, lalai, lai, yalai, lalai, lai, yalalai, yalalai, yalai, lalai, lai, yalalai, yalalai, yalai, lalai, lai, yai, la 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 lai, yalai, lalai, lai, yalalai, yalalai, yalai, lalai, lai, yai, la 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 lai. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom.
Ribono shel olam, eternal spirit of the universe, may that wish be granted, that peace will descend upon us and all Israel and all the world. May this be your will. Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom.
Should I just leave this up here?
That's fine.
Thank you.
Every week is a strange week.
I'm telling you, I
It
just want like less
doesn't
news.
stop.
I just want less news one
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Less to worry about, less to fret
Well,
about.
and that's the problem too, is we know way too much.
That's yeah. Thank you. Another week. It's like every week. Thank goodness it's Shabbat. Yes. But for good reason, right?
All right.
Good night away, and we'll see you soon.
See a safe side.